Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time once again as XRRL is beginning to take the track one more time. I'm your host, Insane Leader 13, for today's event. Low attendance is being coupled with glitches that are keeping drivers from being able to join the lobby. So we're going to be looking at a very, very small Q1 field. We're supposed to have about 15 to 16 people show up. Only 13 have been able to because apparently glitches are keeping drivers from being able to join the lobby. Looks like the number might get a small increase, but right now this could end up being a very, very dull, glorified Q1 practice session here at Australia and Albert Park. Just staying by right now until we start seeing drivers get out onto the track. This is the third of the 3-race glorified mini-series that XRRL is running, and we still have no idea what the official decision is going to be after this mini-series is over. If XRRL is going to try and begin an actual season, if operations will be suspended, if we're going to run a shortened XRRL season like what we did for the first series of XRRL, or what, because glitches continue to be a massive issue throughout this. Ryan Hurricane is not with us for today's event also, so we don't even have a chance to really get in contact with him and see what the plan is going to be either. XRL Edgar and Elfin Starfish are the first drivers to get out onto the racetrack itself. Australia, 3 relatively short straightaways are the only DRS zones on the circuit, which 3 DRS zones may seem like a lot, but considering how short the straightaways are that they are on, they don't usually do much but just help keep drivers behind others over the course of the lap, as now XRL Raptor is merging onto the circuit as well right now. We're just going to follow Edgar for a bit, and we will go silent when he begins his flying lap shortly here, so we really get an idea of what it's going to be like in a full lap here at Albert Park. Circuit looking to get major renovations in time for the 2022 Formula 1 season, but no race is actually taking place at Albert Park since the season opener for the 2019 season. So a very, very frustrating scenario as we go silent and on board with Edgar for a full lap here at Albert Park. Edgar sets the first lap of the session with a 126.422. Raptor is in the middle of a lap right now, but He's ripped off his front wing somewhere on the circuit. We totally missed it when that happened. Now he comes in to repair the damage. Beastian trying to get a lap going, but immediately botches turn 3, and that's not going to help him whatsoever. He is still legal, but that's going to take a lot of time off of his session. Oh, and he gets invalidated, though. But again, this is basically a glorified practice session with only 13 cars out on the racetrack right now. Very janky 90-degree corners here. It's a bit of a shame, but this is a circuit that was designed way back in 1995 Formula 1 season. The cars were a little bit smaller from nose to tail, not nearly as heavy as they are now, and speed was more of a focus, and that is that Starfish? Yeah, it looks like Starfish was pulled over, let other drivers go by as he has invalidated what would have been an outlap. Calzone set a time of 124.739 on the medium tire compounds as far as the only driver to be on mediums. As it is right now, everyone here will advance to the next session as long as they don't crash out, like level 6 BCN came very close to doing right there, with wing pieces all over the track now. Ooh. Really, they both just ran over the wing and it didn't seem to compromise them at all. Okay, cool. Oh, and Raptor has had an accident as well. So incidents across the entire racetrack now. And now Lowe has just crashed out of the session. And it's right in the middle of the racetrack. He's barely off the racing line. The good news is that car should be gone by the time that the AlphaTauri of Edgar comes up to it. But we're going to try and get Lowe in here to see what he has to say that took him out of the session. Starfish still in the middle of the lap right now. So the AlphaTauri way faster though. Alright, and coming into the party with us right now is XRRL Lowe. Lowe, an accident there in the middle of a lap takes you out before Q1 even gets halfway done. What happened out there?
I just gave it a bit too much. That's all. Don't really have too many words right now. I'm just kind of disappointed. But the car is set up really good. I just made a big mistake. So I'll definitely catch up in the race. But at this moment, I'm going to go for a cigarette.
Alright, well, make sure you're nice and calm down for the race itself. It looks like it'll be a small field. Do you think you'll be able to make it back into the top 5 for the race?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I'm able to pull off some decent 121s and stuffs. So, like on the first sector, I was purple. I was already beating Cully Boy. So, I know the car is ready, but just that one corner, I made a little bit of a mistake, and yeah, I don't know. It's all good. I'm just gonna push and head down, and hopefully the car is good for the race.
All right, well, we'll be looking forward to seeing what you can do in the race itself shortly then.
Thank you, sir.
As we turn our focus back into the racetrack, Elephant Starfish on a cooldown lap after saying his first flyer lap on full wet weather tires. So he is more than 30, he's almost a full 30 seconds off of Collie Boy's time. But again, everyone in the session basically guaranteed to make it into Q2. So he's just burning through a set of tires. And as long as the car is not completely destroyed, once he comes in the pits and retires from the session, he will be locked into Q2. So, and he'll still have extra sets of soft tires or medium tires if he wanted to use them for qualifying session 2. So for now, at least, it's not a horrible idea, assuming he can navigate these last few corners without too much of an issue. Right on full wets, though, on the dry conditions, absolutely chunks the tires apart, and it's a god-awful experience, to say the least. Zola has retired from the session as well. He has set time of 127.31. Collie Boy is retired. Raptor, BCN, and TIR Flavor are all on outlaps right now. There's not really a whole lot of note going on at the moment. Where the Elfin Starfish may have to come back out onto the racetrack. And indeed, it looks like the rules... Actually, I'm looking at the rules real quickly right now. And yes, indeed, the case is that Elfin Starfish will have to return to the racetrack, or else he faces the risk of being disqualified from the qualifying session. So Elfin Starfish, although he did turn the lap on the wet tire compound, will have to come back onto the track instead of dry tires before the session is over. Otherwise, he'll be starting in the back and might get disqualified from the race altogether. So continue to watch TR Flavor as teammate level 6 Beast and a little bit farther up. Flavor was having a slow yet consistent run in the Dev race at Montreal earlier today before getting caught up in a multi-car kerfluffle coming to the green flag restart and knocked him out. He has been having a very, very good run in XRRL Dev and XRRL X3, and has had some really good runs in XRRL as well. 2 weeks ago, in the race at Sochi, he ended up gaining a podium position despite making almost no overtakes on the racetrack just by being nice and clean. The two Mercedes they're the only ones on the racetrack right now, although it does look like Smoothie 25 is about to try and move onto the racetrack shortly. There we are. So 3 different Mercedes engine cars take to the racetrack. Star Flavor is in pit lane, but hasn't yet made a move to get onto the circuit. And Elf and Starfish, they have equipped soft tire compounds on the car, so he has been made aware of the rule change, so he will be coming out onto the circuit very shortly here. Smoothie 25 has yet to set a lap time in the session. Raptor and Low both crashed out. They have not been able to set a time. We're going to go ahead and try and get XRRL Raptor in here to see what he has to say thus far. Here we are. Starfish is on an out lap, so he will be able to set a time before the session is over, as will Smoothie, who's a little bit farther back. I wish you could... I've never seen drivers run hards in these sessions. I wonder if you can run hards. Alright, and coming into the party is XRRL Raptor. Give us just a second. Raptor, go ahead, include your audio. Q1 coming to an end very shortly here, but you've not been able to set a lap time. What's your strategy going into the race itself? My question is, as most of us know, it's going to be a wet weather race. Do you have a wet setup for your car, or you do have a dry setup in the case that the track dries out in the last third of the event? Alright, now one more question I do want to ask real quickly, and this is on a grander scale. Have you heard anything about the plans for XRRL after this race? As we know, this is a third in a 3-race mini-series, but there hasn't been any word about significant plans for what XRRL will do after this. If it will just be another mini-series, a randomized truncated season like last year, if XRRL will be shuttered until the game is improved. We've heard nothing. Have you heard anything regarding the future of this? Alright, well, I was asking you more because, like, you're actually an active driver here. I was wondering if maybe you had heard something that I, as a commentator, had not. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and let you go because they're going to be loading up qualifying session 2 very shortly. Thanks for being willing to share a little bit of time with us. Good luck. Alright, we turn our focus now back onto the racetrack. 15... It says 15, but realistically, there's only 13 drivers with us, so it's going to be an extremely small field for tonight's race. Alright, and it looks like Edgar is going to be one of the first 4 drivers to get onto the circuit. The real one to watch is going to be this man here, PPRVM, even though he immediately washes out into the gravel trap coming out of turn 3. Venom will try and be the first driver to set a lap time in this session. 12 drivers in this session, only 10 of them will advance into Q1. The big thing that always makes Q2 interesting would normally be tire choice. However, word is that they will be starting on a wet track, so tires will mean absolutely nothing in this session. Everyone can just go out and turn as fast as they can on the soft tire compound. Edgar, though, has elected to start on the mediums. I have to wonder if Edgar has not gotten the word about the anticipated weather conditions for the race itself. And Elf and Starfish are both out on the circuit. Starfish going to try and begin his flying lap now on the soft tire compounds. He's right on board for a lap on board with him. Coming into the party with us right now is XRRL Edgar. Edgar, go ahead, include your audio. What happened out there that took you out of qualifying session 2? I do have to ask, you were the only driver out there turning laps on the medium tires while everyone else is committed to softs. You are aware that the race is going to be starting in the rain, right? Ah, okay. Okay, so final question. It looks like it's going to be an extremely small grid today with only 13 drivers anticipated to start. You're going to be starting second to last, so how far up the grid do you think you can get in the event? Alright, well, good luck with that. It's a shame to see you out so early in qualifying, but hopefully you can show us some great things in the race itself. begin to turn focus back onto the racetrack. Mr. Anderson in the Alfa Romeo has invalidated the lap that he's on right now, so that means that it's still going to be about another minute before we even see another driver be in the position to even attempt another flying lap. And we're already just about halfway, well, almost halfway through qualifying session 2, and yet hardly anyone is in a position to set more lap times. Flavor's time of 125.049, it's still third best, because only 3 drivers have set laps thus far. Calzone is coming around to the final few corners now, and he will be underway shortly here. DRS opens up, and now he begins his flying lap. There is a McLaren ahead. That will be Collie Boy who's beginning his out lap. So hopefully that McLaren doesn't hold up the Haas too much. He will not. The McLaren takes a wider, slower line through 1, a tighter, slower line through 1, so Calzone is able to get by without issue. And now it's almost all clean track ahead of the Haas. He's right on board with him for the rest of this lap. Well, both Haas's are looking very good today. Upper 124s at the end of Q2. Lower 124s at the end of Q2, and they're first and second at the moment. Zola in the middle of a lap right now in Sector 2 at the moment. XRRL Raptor, who retired early in Q1, has just invalidated. He had a purple Sector 2 almost all the way through, but is invalidated. He will have to go for another lap. Holly Boy in the McLaren has begun his flyer now. He has Sector 127.366. This is a very difficult technical circuit with a lot of medium to high speed mechanical and aerodynamic focused corners. In the hybridization between road courses and street circuits, this is much closer, under this layout at least, it's much closer to a street circuit than it is a traditional permanent road course. I don't know how that wasn't invalidating it, but he's still going. Two hard 90-degree corners here. In fact, all these remaining corners are pretty much 90-degree corners or tighter for Collie Boy. Second to last. He will stay out on track, so this will be his lap. He will be the 6th driver to set a lap time here. The DRS pops open as he comes across the line. It will be a time of 1:22.575. That's almost 2 seconds. That's a second and a half faster than Starfish and Calzone in the Haas machines. As we said before, the faster drivers get put in the slower cars, slower drivers in the faster cars, and I think Collie Boy is trying his best, not intentionally necessarily, but he's showing that maybe he should have been in a slower car. Raptor has had an accident on the circuit, apparently. Torpedo coming up on, and yes, Raptor's car beached on the inside there while he was in the middle of a lap, and that means that everyone else here on track will advance into Q2 without question. We're going to try and get Raptor in here again to see what happened, as we just were talking to him not even 10 full minutes ago. But Torpedo now beginning a flying lap after invalidating his prior one. BCN has yet to set a lap, as does Mr. Anderson, but once those 3 set laps, they will all have automatically advanced into Q3. Oh, and Smoothie has had an incident also. Alright, Raptor Welcome back to the party after only 10 minutes. I won't lie, I like you, man, but I don't want to talk to you this much. What happened out there this time?
Hang on 1 second, I don't think my audio's included.
Ah.
Okay, there we go.
Alright, I just have to ask, what happened this time?
Hashtag I binned it. Hashtag interview over.
Alright, well, there's not much more to say. We've already asked you most everything there needs to be asked. Do you think you'll be able to get up there and vie for podium positions to win the race? You can say no. I won't judge you for that. I would judge you harsher if you said yes and then you didn't even come close.
Hashtag not no, but heck no.
Alright. Well, do you think you'll at least be able to finish in the points paying positions?
If about 7 or 8 other people bin it, sure.
Alright. Well, that's the word from Raptor. He will not be starting in the top 10. It looks like he's going to be starting 11th in today's event.
Alright, thank you very much.
We'll turn our focus now to Mr. Anderson and XRRL Torpedo. These two drivers are the last ones to have yet to set the time. Torpedo's beginning a flying lap again as he has invalid his prior attempts. Mr. Anderson, this is his first true attempt here. It's just 90-degree corners throughout the entirety of Sector 3. Well, one corner is a little bit tighter than that, but most of these are 90-degree corners. That final corner, DRS is open, and at the line, you will see a lap time of 1:23.604. That is the fourth fastest time thus far. Now it's just up to Torpedo. What can Torpedo do to set a time? If Torpedo sets a time, he will automatically advance into the next session. For all intents and purposes, qualifying 2 might as well be over. 2 more corners left for the Alpine. DRS is open, and at the line, 1:22.931. That is the second fastest time thus far. And the 10 drivers who will advance to the next session are Collie Boy, XRRL Torpedo, Smoothie 25, XRRL Zola, Mr. Anderson, Calzoner, TIR Flavor, and Level 6 Beastian. Interestingly enough, Calzoner is going for another lap here. He is one of only 3 cars on track, and I believe Mr. Anderson and Torpedo are both on cooldown laps and will be aborting, coming into the pits very shortly here. Calzoner trying to go faster on medium tires. It's a little bit squirrely there, but he is still underway. Well, he just got the track again, but still it's a legal lap time apparently. Not seeing him pushing too hard right now. I think he's coming to the realization that he's automatically in the next session. As he overtakes Torpedo, who is pulling over to let Calzoner go by on a potential flying lap. He is aborted. And as the session is over, that means that once Torpedo pulls his machine into the pit lane, the session will be over. His problem, though, is that he is basically out of fuel and will have to use DRS to try and power him through to pit lane entry. These 2 accidents make Q2 come to an end very early, as only 13 drivers right now are anticipated to start today's race. And there's your lineup for the event. We've already gone through it once, so there's not really a need to go through it again. And again, the track will be wet when they start, so everyone's going to be starting on either intermediate or full wet tires to begin this race anyway. So we're just going to stand by for a bit until we get on track for Q3.
After a 9-year absence, the French Grand Prix has made a welcome return in 2018. The last time fans witnessed the Grand Prix on French soil was back in 2008, when Felipe Massa took the podium in his Ferrari at Mexico. Melbourne is not a happy hunting ground for their home drivers, with Ricardo and Webber.
Didn't take Starfish long to get onto the circuit. Looks like the McLaren of Collie is also out on track. He's going to be joined very shortly here by the other Haas of Calzone, along with, I believe, that would be Mr. Anderson. No, I'm sorry, it was Venom, not Anderson. Collie Boy's invalidated his lap. So now the focus goes to Collie Boy to potentially be the first driver to set a good flying lap. That would be the standard for Q3. Bumpy over the curbs in the McLaren, but he's got relative good control over the car for now. Starfish actually was able to get his lap going green anyways. I thought it was going to invalidate his following lap, but no, it looks like Starfish will still be the driver to potentially set the first flyer in the session, as TIR Flavor has now moved onto the circuit. Sector 2. Now the final corner. This is the time that everyone's going to be chasing for the majority of the session. Starfish sets a 1:23.302. Collie Boy is anticipated. Well, he's invalidated. I missed that, but Collie Boy is invalidated, so that means it's going to be Calzone, I think, who will be the next driver. Now, just as I focus on Calzone, he invalidates, so I believe it will be PPR Venom, who is also invalidated. So this is going to be a long period of time before we even get to see another driver be in a position to try and set another flying lap. There's just a little bit more than 8 minutes left in the session, so that's plenty of time to do it. And even if drivers felt it was necessary to go ahead, abort, and come into the pits to get new tires and fresh fuel in the car, but new tires and fresh fuel, I should say new fuel and fresh tires. Fresh fuel and tires. believe it's going to be TIR Flavor, who is looking to be the second driver to set a lap time in the session in the Mercedes. Is that legal? I don't think that entering the pit lane is legal, but we're also now in a position where, again, we're going to be waiting until another driver sets a lap time. Although I believe now it's going to be Zola, who will be the second driver to set a time in the session. He just has a few more corners left. Starfish enjoying a very prolonged period at the top of the timesheets, but Zola and Calzone are both coming on clean laps. Now the final corner, the DRS opens up, and for the Aston Martin, will go ahead and set a lap time of 1:24.382, and now Starfish's teammate Calzone will cross the line with a time of 1:23.885. Comes level 6 Beastian now, who's coming into the pits. Mr. Anderson's invalidated lap, but PPR Venom has not. He'll be the fourth driver who's crossed the line, and it will be a time of 1:23.446 for him. Mr. Anderson, as we said earlier, has invalidated, so it's going to be Smoothie 25 and Collie Boy, who will try and be the next driver to set lap times in the session. No one's been able to challenge Elfin Starfish at the top for a prolonged period of time in this session. Alright, on board with the Aston Martin for a full lap here in Q3. And at the line will be a time of 1:23.641 for Smoothie 25. So Ferrari Power continues to hold the top three spots right now. Collie Boy and the Mercedes and trying to break that up. Will he? Wow, boy, does he to the top. 1:22.899. Torpedo coming across the line, beginning a flyer. Level 6 Beast is in the middle of a flyer as well. TIR Flavor is still in pit lane and has not yet made an attempt to get onto the racetrack since aborting his earlier attempt. The only Renault-powered car in Q3 here. Trying to make something happen. rear of the car, but it is still legal. It is still a legal lap. He's not invalidated, and assuming there's minimal damage to the back of that car, he might be able to go for another run at it. Both Haas's are out on track. Calzone on another outlap. Starfish trying to do another flyer here. Does Torpedo stay on the circuit? He does, so he's very confident that the tires didn't take too much damage. He's going to go for another lap, as this one way off time due to that accident, 131.678. Beastian in the middle of the lap as well, and his teammate TIR Flavor is merging onto the track as we speak. Wow, that Mercedes got really twitchy coming out of there. The fuel light is flashing, but this will be his only chance at it, so I imagine Beastie is going to go full to the wall here. Won't bother to pull over at all. He needs to start leaning on the ERS, honestly. PPR Venom retires in pit lane. He feels that he cannot improve on his time. The time, 126.477. That's almost that's over 2 seconds actually, off of Zola's time. And the fuel light continues to flash, and he has not yet even touched the ERS. Starfish to the top, 122.752. Collie Boy retires in the pits, so Haas goes back to the top. I don't know what BC's doing. He's hardly even touched his ERS. Now he's starting to use it a bit, but he waited until very late in the lap to do so, and he's just barely abusing it at that. The fuel light's still flashing. It's unknown if he'll be able to make it all the way around. His teammate TIR Flavor has also begun a flying lap. And he's invalidated. So the 26.477 will be the best that he can do. So he is locked into, at best, a 9th, at worst, a 10th place starting position. And this man, his teammate, TIR Flavor, he needs to hope is slower than him, so BC can hold on to 9th. 28.144 at the end of Sector 1. At the end of Sector 2. Now Sector 3. And after this little bend in this straightaway, almost every remaining corner are very frustrating 90-degree corners, with one corner that's a little bit tighter than that. Time up, over, plow for this session. Torpedo has bounced back from that spin he had earlier, and he has now set the second fastest time, 122.782. At the line, Flavor will set a lap time, 124.676, so that's good enough to promote him into 9th. Zola had an accident in the same place that Torpedo did earlier. Now he is way down on time. Will not likely be able to improve. His teammate Smoothie, though, is up by 5/10. That would be enough to potentially launch him ahead of both Venom and Mr. Anderson if he can hold on to that advantage through these final 2 corners. The line. The DRS opens up, and Smoothie, he jumps all the way to the top at the last moment. Smoothie steals the pole position from Elephant Starfish by taking a massive chunk out of his time in the 3rd sector, 122.466, and the Aston Martin will be starting on the pole position. So Smoothie 25 takes pole. There's your top 10 Of note, the Alphas both qualify next to each other, as do the two Mercedes. And it will be 5 minutes until we get into the race itself. And the track already soaked. Again, small field, about 13 cars will be taking the green here on a very, very wet racetrack. I imagine that this race is going to get very spread out. We aren't going to see a whole lot of driver versus driver battle throughout the day. I think it's going to be a lot of driver versus track, and then drivers trying to manage the gaps and time penalties in the last third of the event as the circuit begins to dry out.
After a 9-year absence, the French Grand Prix made a welcome return in 2018. The last time fans witnessed the Grand Prix on French soil was back in 2008, when Felipe Massa took the podium in his Ferrari at Mexico.
The word is XRRL Fiend is going to be retiring in the pit lane, as he will not be able to run the entire race due to the game putting him in the wrong car. And just staying by for about another minute and a half until we get into the race itself. is staying by until we get into the race itself. Should be underway in about a minute's time, if not a little bit less than that. Again, very small field for today's event, so although it's still going to be a full-length race, we are anticipating to see the field get spread out very quickly, and drivers just trying to keep the cars on the road until the track starts drying out, and then it will be a matter of managing the gaps and time penalties. There you are. There's their final countdown until we get into the race itself. Here we are. 4 lights, 5 lights. That's lights out and away we go here at Albert Park. Right off the bat, it looks like Smoothie did not have a good run at all, and it's going to lead to an instant right off the bat as PPR Venom goes hard to the inside wall. There's some damage to that car, but it looks like he should be able to continue as Starfish, who has inherited the lead over Collie Boy. Near collision there. Everyone on the full wet weather tires for the moment. Right on board with Mr. Anderson, right behind Torpedo, who's closing in on Smoothie farther up. Flavor has dropped all the way to 13th for the moment. Calzoner trying to see if he can do anything as he's gotten by Mr. Anderson by jumping on the inside. He'll be on the inside in the braking zone. And they make a little bit of contact. Mr. Anderson gets forced off the circuit just a bit there. And Zola is going to try That's not Zola, that's Mr. Anderson who's trying to capitalize. Edgar snuck his way through. Zola's gone off track. Is green low into the fray. Oh, God, there's the Haas. How about Calzoner? This is a mess over here. Edgar sneaks by Calzoner under the braking zone. They made contact. They both run a little bit wide. Mr. Anderson's trying to come back, but he ends up sliding the car sideways. Zola's going to get by Mr. Anderson. Now Lowe goes around the outside of Mr. Anderson. Anderson fighting back on the outside, but this is a very, very slow corner, especially in the wet. And Anderson can't do anything as Lowe very nearly slides in the understeers off the race circuit. As Elfin Starfish takes the lead here. BC and Venom and Flavor are the 3 drivers out of the point paying positions as Fiend will have to retire in the pits very shortly here. And it looks like Zola, Anderson, and Raptor are beginning to fall off this. But actually, I take it back. Calzoner, farther up though, is closing in on Edgar. Edgar, really hard understeer, and Calzoner nearly follows him. Edgar having nothing but trouble keeping the car on the racetrack, on the proper racing line, as keeping Calzoner right there behind him. And a little bit farther up for the 3rd position, Torpedo is right there behind Smoothie. Not in a position to do anything directly, but he is putting pressure. You can see him getting really squirrely. And again, no DRS in the wet, so every single overtake you see on the racetrack here is 100% driver skill and ability. Torpedo on the inside of Smoothie. They make a little bit of contact, but he has to back out of it and let the Aston Martin hold on to 3rd. So Smoothie, who thought he would be down to last place by this point, is actually holding steady in the top 3. Collie Boy is putting pressure on Elfin Starfish for the lead right now. Starfish had a better line there going through the corner. TIR Flavor, meanwhile, has had an accident. It looks like that car is halfway. Well, he's pointing not quite the right way, but he is back underway now. At this rate, he will be at risk of going a lap down. On board with Raptors, he follows behind Anderson and Lowe. Now we turn and look out of the back of Lowe as Anderson is trying to close in. He gets a great run down the front straightaway, side by side, but the McLaren is better set up for the straightaway Under braking, who's going to do it a little bit better? It looks like the answer is going to be low. Anderson might try, and Collie Boy has had an accident. The other McLaren has had a spin, and very nearly gets clipped by his teammate, and Collie Boy goes from 2nd to 10th. He's able to get back underway without too much of an issue, but he has plummeted through the field now. Raptor there behind Lowe, who is running behind Anderson. Lowe runs wide. Now Raptor comes by on the inside, and he'll steal the position. Zola there behind Calzoner, who continues to try to find a way past Edgar, and they both are closing in on Torpedo and Smoothie. So 2nd through 6th, all gradually closing in on each other. Interestingly enough, I'm not seeing rain actively falling on the racetrack. The circuit is very wet, there's no doubt about that, but there's not very much active rain on the circuit. Two McLarens of Lowe and Collie Boy have caught each other for the 9th and 10th positions. At the moment, the Collie Boy has earned himself a time penalty, the first of the day. But he has gotten by his teammate Lowe, as Lowe has elected to come into the pit lane. Second through 5th are all ranged just slow enough that's actually running the risk of bringing Mr. Anderson into the fray. Gas right now is more than a second, but not close enough for anyone here to be making moves. Level 6 Beastian has had an incident. He has had an accident trying to come into the pit lane. I can't tell if the front wing is damaged or not. Hopefully we'll get a better viewpoint of that shortly here. Game. Alternate view, thank you. Yes, indeed, there is wing damage on that car. Edgar has closed in to about 3,500ths from Torpedo. Trying to figure out a way by. He's now within 2/10, less than 2/10, but under braking. Torpedo very, very slow through the corner, but blocks Edgar from being able to do anything to compensate. Beastian still on the lead lap, simply because Starfish is being very, very conservative right now. Calzoner there behind Edgar, as Edgar washes out just a little bit in the apex of the final corner. Now Calzoner has the same problem exiting that corner. All 2nd through 5th have all pulled away from Zola just a bit though. So it's now turned into a 4-car battle for the 2nd position, but no one's really close enough to make moves on each other. Braking now. No significant change. Smoothie is actually pulling away from Torpedo just a little bit. Edgar sails it and gets right up there, but then he compromises his line. That might be enough for Calzoner to get by. On the outside, he's going to want to back out going into this corner, otherwise he runs the risk of going into the dirt. He does back out. At the last minute, too, he very nearly lost part of the front wing, and that brings Zola back into the fray, and Mr. Anderson is now a competitor in this fight as well, so it has now turned into a 6-car battle for the 3rd position. I'm sorry, 5-car battle for a 3rd position. Torpedo gets passed by Edgar at the end of the straight, but there's a little bit of contact made on the crossover. Torpedo now has lost the spot to Edgar, so Edgar, despite having a lot of trouble in corner apexes, was able to make it stick against the Alpine. And now Calzoner's going to try and follow up. Who's going to have a better exit out of the final corner? The answer is Torpedo in the Alpine. And Venom has had an accident. He's back underway though, but he is still in 12th position. Calzoner looking against Torpedo once more on the run down to turn 3. As low as gotten by TIR Flavor and gotten back into the points paying positions. Torpedo. Oh, Calzoner. Oh, Calzoner very nearly spins out there, but he's able to keep the power in it. Torpedo has to run extremely wide to keep the car alive. Calzoner trying to fight back. Zola ready to capitalize the moment one of these two make a mistake. And that's letting Edgar, Torpedo, and Smoothie get away a little bit. Zola threw it up there into a cleaner part of the racetrack, but compromised his momentum onto the next sector of the circuit. Now Calzoner and Torpedo pull away from him a bit. Zola has cleaner line going through this corner. He'll be one of the fast cars going through here. I don't see any way he can get by Torpedo or Calzoner though, unless these two continue to make mistakes. And Mr. Anderson is right there behind Zola as well, so that's something else he's going to have to consider. Venom has elected to put on intermediates in the pit lane. Oh, and Torpedo's hit the inside wall. And now Calzoner sails by on the outside. But he ended up in the dirt. Is there damage on the Alpine? I think there is. No, there's no damage. He's actually still good. And here comes the Aston Martin. But no, Venom is still on the lead lap and on intermediates. As Vician steps aside to let the leader go by. So Venom might be able to open up enough, if this is the right move, he might be able to open up enough of a gap that he'll stay on the lead lap. And then Zola, who is elected to get on the intermediates also relatively early. If this is the right call, this could be huge as this race goes on. Torpedo there behind Calzoner. Farther up, Edgar is there behind Smoothie, and Smoothie thought that although he started on the pole, he was going to plummet through the grid. He's held on to a top 3 position very well. In fact, he's been second for most of this race. So this could be a very, very good run for Smoothie here. Edgar going around the outside, though, so this overtake will happen. Edgar now by Smoothie. Had to muscle his way through, but he is by. Although, here we are fighting back. That is Smoothie. He gets back by. I thought that position was for good, but it looked like Edgar compromised his line, his speed so much to get by him that ended up hurting him significantly on the rest of the straightaway. Now he's going for another move, going to see if he can outbrake. He thinks better of it and pulls back. Is anyone else going to elect to come into the pits and throw on intermediates early or not? Yes, indeed, there is somebody, and it is going to be level 6 Vician, who is a lap down. He doesn't really have anything to lose at this point. He's not the only one. Calzoner, Torpedo, and Mr. Anderson all elected to just jump into the pits at the same time. The top 4 still on the same wet weather tires they started with. Holly Boy came into the pits as well. You can see Edgar chasing the rear of the car coming out of turn 4 there. Lowe is still on track with wets. And so is TIR Flavor. Here we are, Edgar coming back on the outside of Smoothie once more. I think he's going to have the position for good this time. So the overtake for second finally goes through. But the gap from second to first is now 7.2 seconds. Starfish is in a zip code all of his own right now. TIR Flavor staying out on circuit on the full wet tires. When do the top 4 pit? The Starfish elect to pit this lap. Half the field has pitted. Will Starfish join them? The answer is yes, he will. What about Edgar? What about Smoothie? Do they pit? Here comes Edgar. Smoothie is going to stay out one more lap on these very wet tires. What about Raptor in fourth? He pits as well. So now TIR Flavor and Smoothie are the only cars on the full wet tires. Everyone else has moved over to intermediates. And for Zola, this could be huge. Will he end up gaining a lot of positions by virtue of jumping onto the intermediates early? As he comes out of the final corner and opens up the DRS, he's already up in the fifth. He might be able to steal fourth from Raptor. He might, if he's lucky, be able to steal third from Edgar. He's behind Edgar as Edgar comes out of the pit lane, but he's got tires that are up to temperature. It's going to take a little bit longer for Edgar to do the same. And he wasn't fighting with Edgar for third when he pitted. He might be able to get by him here, but he's going to have to do it fast because Edgar is definitely one of the faster drivers on the racetrack. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. Edgar is already settling back into a rhythm. Calzona has come back into the pit lane. I don't know if he got damaged somewhere or something, but this will drop him through the grid just a little bit. Will TIR Flavor elect to come into the pit lane? Oh, and Venom has had an accident. And that will put him a lap down. And he was setting good times and getting away from the leaders, but now he has a lap down with significant front wing damage. In fact, so much front wing damage that might as well be gone. It is gone, basically. Flavor is finally coming in and putting on the intermediate tires. And he should be able to stay on the lead lap because I imagine Smoothie will come into the pits here. Yes, he does. So now Elfin Starfish inherits the lead back as he gets by PPR Venom and that very damaged car. Edgar will inherit second once more. Smoothie 25 came back into the pits. As now he's beginning to drop through the order just a bit. Mr. Anderson trying to outbrake him on the run down to turn 3. On the outside, is it going to be good enough? It's not going to be good enough. But he is still there and still able to put a lot of pressure on him. On board with Raptor as he can see Smoothie and Mr. Anderson fighting ahead. The Red Bull is now closing in as these two are squabbling it out. While Elfin Starfish, Edgar, and Zola are opening up away from the field in the top 3 positions. Venom, another accident in the same part of the track they had it happen earlier, and Edgar has just set the fastest lap of the race. Oh, and TIR Flavor spins out, and this means that he's going to inevitably go a lap down as here comes the race leader. And now there are only 10 cars left on the lead lap. Bastian has had an accident as well in the same place that the McLarens have had, and Venom has had. As Raptor continues to try and close in on the battle between Mr. Anderson and Smoothie. Raptor not super confident in his pace today. Right now, he should be a little bit confident. He has gotten up to 7th position and might be able to take a few more spots if something happens to these two ahead. This here is the most active battle on the racetrack for 5th and 6th. I mean 4th and 5th and 6th. Well, 5th and 6th. And then kind of 7th. Raptor is there, but he's not actively making moves. As TRR Flavor just pulls totally off the track to avoid being an issue for these cars. Under braking, Anderson closes in a significant amount. TRR Flavor, another spin, same part of the track they had happen earlier, and that's his teammate Level 6 Beastian, who is still a lap down compared to Flavor, but he will get by him. So a very, very bad run for both Mercedes drivers thus far, not to mention PPR Venom, who's also just been having an absolute horrible run thus far in the wet. Oh no, Alpha Starfish, you're a race leader! And that's gonna be a full course yellow! Your race leader, pole setter, the man who's dominated the day, and now Elephant Starfish has had a crash and has taken him out of the event. And not only will it take him out of the event, this bounces up the entire field. Everything has just gone wide open. This race could go any direction all of a sudden. What in the devil? Everyone's on relatively fresh intermediate, so I don't see a lot of drivers electing to pit. What in the world? Well, we're going to try and get Elephant Starfish in here to see what happened. Wow, I didn't see that coming. Yeah, it looks like everyone's staying on track, so the field should be able to gather back up relatively quickly in about a lap or in time of about a lap or two. This should be a very short safety car. Lowe has elected to come into the pits, though. And in that pit, they are serving a time penalty, it would appear. That he will fall to the back of the cars on the lead lap. But it's still a benefit for him because if it helps reduce the amount of time penalties against him, he'll be in a good position. And again, this will be I guess with this pit stop, it will be a relatively long safety car, so Lowe shouldn't have to worry too much about this, and he'll be on fresher intermediate, slightly fresher intermediates compared to everyone else on the racetrack. Calzoner is still 35 seconds out from the lead 7, so yeah, we're gonna have to go another lap. So we are anticipating going green again on lap 15 of 58. As Venom gets a time penalty for cutting the track, just trying to catch up to the back of the field, but still, it's not gonna help him in the slightest. One thing that will help Venom is that now everyone's gathered back up. He may have a chance to try and overtake Flavor for the 10th and final points-paying position. BCN, though, being nearly two laps down, basically, he needs DNFs for other drivers if he wants a lot of DNFs for other drivers if he wants to end up back in points-paying positions. No one else elected to come into the pit lane, so this means that once Lowe does catch up, once Calzoner and Lowe do catch up to the back of the field, we will be going green. Calzoner should catch the back of the grid in a few seconds here. See the Mercedes of Beastian pulling over to let the lead lap traffic get by. comes Low. As level 6 Beastian, who has just had another spin. He is back underway, and Low will go ahead and skirt by him here in one of these remaining straights, I imagine. Yep. But Beastian's going to have to make sure he doesn't make any more mistakes trying to catch him to the back of the grid. Venom now right behind TIR Flavor, the man he's going to be fighting for position in this race. Calzone's going to be a little bit frustrated because he's going to be trapped right behind these two lapped cars. Better 2 than 3, Calzoner. Better 2 than 3. Low just about catches up. And Beastian a little bit farther back, but he's multiple laps down, so I think we should still be seeing the field coming to the green this time by. Beastian drive-through penalty for falling too far back. But the safety car is coming in this lap. That's the official word. So for Beastian, it goes from bad to worst. We are coming now to the green flag. And Flavor just had a time penalty for collision with Venom? What? I call horseshoe. By the way, coming to the green flag, can Zola do anything to Edgar as they go to the green? Venom now has a time penalty for collision with Flavor, so they're both even on time penalties, 5 each. On to the second DRS strip. Again, no DRS under wet, so every overtake you see is 100% driver ability, or capitalizing on the mistakes of those ahead. Raptor trying to get on the outside of Anderson, wasn't able to make it 6, so now he falls back and has to hold off Collie Boy. Ooh, look at that McLaren really sideways. That is Collie Boy, and now Calzoner is there, so a potential overtake for 7th might happen here. All it takes is another twitch from that McLaren. The Haas is looking very strong and stable right now compared to the McLaren ahead. Zola, time penalty for track violations. That will work out in Edgar's favor as he has inherited the race lead after Elfin Starfish crashed with a 5.5-second lead and brought the safety car. Now Edgar is going to try and walk off with this race win. Ah, Venom! Another accident. And the front wing on that car completely ripped off. Oh, okay, that was weird. From the angle I was looking at, it looked like it was completely ripped off. But there is damage, and Flavor may have a chance to get back by him now. As Venom goes deep into the dirt. And indeed, Flavor will take 10th back. Collie Boy loses position to Calzoner. Now his teammate Lowe has got a lot more speed than the McLaren. And both of them are faster than Calzoner. Collie Boy looks to the inside of Calzoner. That keeps Lowe from making a move, but also sacrifices Collie Boy's run through turn 1. Collie Boy fights back with a good exit out of 2. Lowe's not going to be able to do anything to his teammate yet. Battle for second. Torpedo right there behind Zola. Torpedo started on the pole, and he's been in the top 3 positions almost this entire race. He's trying to put pressure on Zola, who's one of the first drivers to go onto the intermediates from the full weather tires. He's right there behind the Aston Martin's rear wing. But does he have a plan to get by? If he goes into the inside wall, he hits the inside wall, and it's hard into the wall, and he's out of it! And there's your virtual safety car. Full course safety car, actually. Not what TIR Flavor wanted to see, because now he's still at the back of the grid, and this brings Venom back up to him once again. We're going to try and get Torpedo in here and see what he has to say, because we were riding on board with him. have the advantage of being on fresh intermediates for this restart. All right, and coming into the party with us now is XRRL Torpedo. Torpedo, go ahead and include your audio. We were riding on board with you, but we're still not 100% sure what happened. Did you just miss the corner or what that took you out of the race?
I hit the curb, like on the exit of the corner, like spun, thought I saved it, but then there was a bottle that's glitched that was flying around. I lightly tap it, and that's my wheel off, and I'm out.
It was an absolute travesty because you got the pole and you had been holding on to a podium position up until that point. It's an absolute travesty.
Yeah, it is. It's just that it just shows that the game's still bugged, and that's why we haven't started the season properly yet.
All right. Well, now the question is, as we turn our focus to X1, X2, X3 tomorrow for their races at Montreal. Obviously, you're going to be with us for X3, but are you going to be running? Oh, no, he's gone. Okay, never mind. He had to leave. That's cool. All right. Well, we turn our focus back to this race then. For Flavor, frustration, because now Venom has a chance to catch back up to him unless the field goes green this lap. There's not been a word that safety car is going to do that yet. But now Zola gets another shot at Edgar here. And Aston Martin's now hold first and second, and Edgar's coming into the pits. And so is Zola, so is Smoothie. Raptor's gonna stay out. Mr. Anderson's coming in. A bunch of drivers are coming in. We're seeing drivers come in all across the board all of a sudden. What is going on? Zola, oh, and there's been a stack up in the Aston Martin pits. But drivers are putting on softs. So some of these guys seem to believe that the track is now dry enough that they can go on dry tires. But I'm still seeing rain from some of the cameras. And now the McLarens have inherited third and fourth. The Haas's, Kazellner is now up in second. Raptor is now your race leader. TIR Flavor has the softs on. Venom is going to stick with the intermediates and will end up ahead of Flavor when they come onto the track. This has just gotten really weird. Is the track dry enough to warrant running softs, though? It certainly looks drier than it did, but it doesn't look totally dry, and I'm not sure how smart of a decision this was. Smoothie 25, interestingly enough, he did come in, but he just put on fresh intermediates. This will be very weird. Smoothie 25 goes off circuit on those fresh intermediates, and they're just having trouble. He's just having trouble catching up to the back of the grid, apparently. This might have been a race-deciding decision by drivers like Edgar, Zola, and Mr. Anderson. As the top four stay out on intermediates, but drivers 5th through 7th now, who were the drivers in the top four positions, they've all elected to pit. And now Raptor is coming into pits. Is this it? Is this the top four all coming in? Yes, the top four have all now come in. Smoothie is too far back to capitalize. But Collie Boy has put on another set of fresh intermediate tires. This is going to get very weird very fast. Venom has come in, and now he has equipped hards. So the track is drying out under this safety car, and drivers are taking off the intermediates, with the exception of Smoothie and Collie Boy. They have not yet taken off their intermediate tires. Smoothie also serving a time penalty. And now they put on mediums on that car. Everything has gotten very weird now. Collie Boy, it's going to be very interesting watching him because he still has fresh intermediates on while everyone else has gone to some variant of a dry tire compound. There's the word safety car in this lap, although Smoothie has yet to catch the back of the grid, as does level 6 Beastian. But again, Beastian's many laps down. It's not really an issue considering Beastian. But Smoothie has yet to catch the back of the grid. He needs to get up there fast if he wants to do anything to low. But if Smoothie does catch the back of the grid, which it's looking very unlikely he will. Oh, and Collie Boy just got a penalty for a collision with Edgar. How? Edgar's your race leader. Okay. So it's going from bad to worse for Collie Boy and the McLaren. I think Smoothie is just barely going to catch the back of the grid when they come to the green flag. Oh wow, that was a very, very rough start in the back. Oh, and Venom has to slide out of the way to let Calzoner by. So no, Smoothie was not close enough. But he did close the gap quite a bit, but he still wasn't close enough. So what does Lowe do against his teammate Collie Boy? On a drying track, the intermediate tires will be chunking apart with almost no grip whatsoever, and Collie Boy falls to 6 almost immediately. He's going to have to try and hold off the Haas of Calzoner. Nothing he can do against him. Smoothie 25 will be closing in as well very shortly here. Oh no, Venom! Whoa! And Smoothie barely gets by Venom. As Venom spins out there. And for Flavor, this is perfect because now he holds on to ninth without issue. Collie Boy loses another position to Smoothie. Collie Boy will have to come into the pits this lap. Mr. Anderson there behind Zola. And now that the track is dry, we'll likely see DRS start becoming a factor again as we come to the next 2 or 3 laps. Edgar already opened up nearly a 3-second gap over Zola right now, though. Anderson doesn't seem to have quite what it takes to keep up with Zola through the final corner. Edgar, fastest lap, 128.354. So he is in a zip code all on his own right now. Anderson holding on to Zola, holding on to the draft just enough that he might be able to get DRS once he becomes active, which should be next lap. Collie Boy coming into the pits now, and he will remove those intermediate tires. He's got to be kicking himself, asking, why did I stick with these intermediates? Why did I stick with the intermediates? Smoothie 25 could be in a very interesting position because once the softs start falling off, he's on the mediums and he'll pick up a bunch of positions. As we look at the time penalties, Edgar has a 5-second time penalty. If he elects to serve that in pit lane, he could very easily lose the lead. Anderson's still there behind Zola, just 4/10 out, a little bit more as they go under braking. But the track without a doubt is dry now. One option that there is to the end of the race, you could elect to just throw on softs all the way to the end, just totally ignore mediums. But that would only work though if you think that running 3 full cycles on soft tire compounds would be better than running a soft to medium. It'd be very interesting to see if that works out or not. Mr. Anderson's still there behind Zola. This is the most active battle on the racetrack right now, although PPR Venom is closing in on TIR Flavor. But there's Smoothie, who's on the lead lap in between. That's going to cause a little bit of havoc as Venom is on harder, slower tires compared to Smoothie. Smoothie's not exactly closing in. on an Edgar time penalty for track violations. So he may be the fastest on track, but he's not necessarily the cleanest. Edgar, fastest lap again, 126.041. He's opened the gap to 5.5 seconds over Zola as Anderson continues to try and figure out how to get by Zola, but he's not having any luck doing it. He's got DRS going down the straightaway now. Does he go for a dive? He thinks better of it. The thing is, though, that Zola will have the advantage because as Anderson continues to run behind Zola, it reduces the aerodynamic efficiency of the front wing and leads to the front tires losing grip and losing life cycle. So Anderson needs to make a move against Zola sooner rather than later. Venom has just snuck by TIR Flavor. So Flavor continues to have problems with having no pace, and with Venom running hard tire compounds, he will not have to worry about pitting again. TIR Flavor will. Venom possibly could run those tires to the end of this race. So Flavor not in a very good position right now compared to Venom. Well, Mr. Anderson has had an incident, and the entire front wing is gone off that car. And this is going to plummet him through the grid. So that push that he was doing against Zola now working against him, as he has now lost a significant chunk of the car, and he's going to lose even more time coming into the pits to repair it. So now we're going to get an idea on if Smoothie will actually be able to start moving up positions or not, by virtue of having made the stop when he did and being on mediums. There's the word. Smoothie easily overtakes Mr. Anderson, who was in the top 3 when he crashed, but I'm going to be honest, I don't think Smoothie is going to be close enough to the top 3 to actually overtake them when they pit and he stays out in the mediums. Now, all the battles on the track, all but dead now. We got to this point a lot earlier in the race than anticipating, but now everyone's just minding the gap, and to an extent, minding their tire strategy. Everyone in the top 5 on similarly worn soft tire compounds. Edgar, plainly faster than everyone else on the racetrack, but he has a 5-second time penalty that he'll likely be serving in pit lane. Oh, and Venom has had an accident. That means TIR Flavor back by him, but again, as long as the damage to Venom's car isn't too much, he will have the advantage over Flavor. Indeed, I don't see any damage to Venom's car, so he should be able to get back up to Flavor and overtake him again. So Balfour 9th and 10th position is on. That little dot up ahead on the straightaway, that is Flavor's machine. Here's the battle that has kicked on live. Raptor is closing in on Zola. Also, Raptor has a tire that is 1 lap fresher than Zola's. Collie Boy! With an accident! Oh, and it's right on the main straightaway, and that's a full course safety car. And this will gather the entire field up, and for Smoothie, that is perfect, because he is on mediums, and he can stay on mediums for a lot longer as well. Will Edgar elect to come into the pits or not? Yes, he will. He is coming into the pits, and he'll likely get onto a different set of tires. What about Zola behind? He does the same thing. What about Raptor? He does the same. What about Lowe? He does the same. What about Calzoner? He does the same. Smoothie might be able to pick up a bunch of positions by staying on the mediums. Edgar has equipped medium tires. Zola has equipped medium tires. Raptor has equipped medium tires. Lowe is equipping medium tires. I imagine Calzoner will be equipping medium tires as well. Smoothie just needs to put the throttle down and he can pick up a bunch of positions on this straightaway. Yes, he will. Smoothie goes up into third behind his teammate Zola. Mr. Anderson coming in. He'll take off the softs. TIR Flavor is going to stay on the same softs. Venom is staying on his hards, and BCN too far back to really be a factor right now. But we're going to bring Collie Boy into the party and hear what he has to say about his race that has sadly ended early. Also, for level 6 Beastie, and assuming he doesn't total the car in the next 2 or 3 laps, this will work out in his favor. PPR Venom and TR Flavor. Now another time penalty for collisions. I call bullcrap on that still, but irregardless, that's what they've gotten. And now Beastian will be in a good position, sort of, because with Collie Boy's DNF, once Beastian makes up the 2 laps, he will be in the top 10, so he will walk out here with points. This might be multiple laps down. For Smoothie, now the situation is a little bit unique because he is on older mediums while everyone else is on fresh mediums, but he has gained a bunch of positions. Something I don't think anyone except him was anticipating happening. And now he has climbed up into the 3rd spot on the racetrack. And when he does inevitably pit, the field will be nice and spread out, and he can get onto whatever set of tires he wants to the end. Flavor staying out again on softs. I would come in. I would put on a different set of tires. There we are. BCN now officially gets by. Collie Boy still a lap behind Flavor and Venom. So the entire field is now gathered up, and we should be going green on lap 28 with 30 laps to go in the event, so not quite halfway through. Now beginning to see the sun poke out. So the circuit's going to start warming up just a little bit. There's where safety car will be coming in this lap. Alright, there you are. Safety car is now pulling away. So once again, Zola has not been able to keep up with Edgar, but Zola gets another chance at it. And this time he has his teammate Smoothie running interference behind, so he shouldn't have to worry about drivers behind, hopefully. So Zola versus Edgar once more, coming to the green flag. Only 10 cars of the 14-car field are left. We're not quite halfway through the event. Out of the final corner. Zola didn't even come close to keeping up with Edgar as they came to the green. top three all get very much spread out, in fact, and Raptor can immediately start trying to go to work on Smoothie, if anything. The battle between PPR Venom and TIR Flavor will be one to watch, though. Oh, and Low is gotten by Raptor. Raptor went a little too hard against Smoothie, and Low got by, so that at least one of the McLarens are moving back up through the field. Let's try to focus once more to 8th and 9th. Oh, and Venom's off. Calzone behind Raptor, who's behind Low, who's behind Smoothie. Bound for 3rd and 6th, just a little bit active right now. Smoothie is on worn tires compared to everyone behind him. Not exceptionally worn, but as this goes on, the battle will go in their favor and not his. Oh! Raptor! Hard into the wall! But the car is somehow still alive! But he'll fall to 7th, might even fall farther than that if he has to come in and repair damage on that car. I can't see the other half of that front wing. There is damage to the front wing of that car. Now there are only 6 drivers seriously in contention for this race win. Even at that, Mr. Anderson is not keeping up whatsoever. Neither is Calzone. It's a 4-car fight for the lead now, realistically. Calzone someone else just had an incident. Was that Venom? Yes, Venom has had another, and that entire front wing is gone from the car. And Venom also serving the time penalty while in pit lane. Also, Smoothie has caught his teammate Zola, and Low is right there as well. So it's going to turn to a 3-car battle for 2nd here. Low, time penalty for track violations. That works out in Smoothie's favor, who still doesn't have any time penalties. He looks to the inside of his teammate, scoots by him despite being on significantly older tires. Smoothie could have an advantage going through in this race. He is on an alternate tire strategy compared to just about everyone else who's still in the lead lap and in a position to fight for the race win. Also, Edgar has a bunch of time penalties. Smoothie does not. DRS has been enabled, but Low is going to try and overtake Zola without the advantage of DRS back there. Oh, very nearly loses it. Going for it again now. Not able to make it stick. But Zola doesn't seem to be able to keep up as well in the dry. I have to wonder if maybe he was expecting the race to be under wet conditions for a lot longer. He may have a wet or an intermediate setup, and with the track dry like this, a dry setup is going to kick the rear tires off of an alternate setup. As well towards the back of Low, but not close enough to do anything. You can see Smoothie again with older tires is pulling away against everyone else except Edgar. I think it's going to come down to Edgar versus Smoothie and who has the fewest time penalties and has the better tire strategy to the end of this race. And that's assuming we don't have another yellow flag. We have another yellow flag and a huge accident by Low. And that's the same part of the track that his teammate Colin Boy had an accident. And the worst part for Low is that it was right past start pit. Right past pit entrance, so he's going to have to circle the entire track now without a front wing. He might lose 6th even to Raptor. And now, only 4 drivers are seriously in a position to fight for the race win. Maybe 5 if you count Mr. Anderson, but realistically, it's Edgar, Smoothie, Zola, and Calzone. And these four are realistically only close together because of all the safety cars bunching up the field earlier. Calzoner, now it's his time to put some pressure on Zola. Yeah, for Lowe, I think it's almost a guarantee that he is going to lose 6th position to Raptor, because once Lowe comes into the pits, he is going to have to replace that front wing altogether. Venom, another spin. He is getting back underway, but this might, if this keeps up for him, he might end up having to fight with Beastian for the 9th position. Calzoner has the DRS on the Aston Martin ahead. Close enough to make a move yet, though. But he's there. Zola doesn't have to worry about a McLaren. Now he has to worry about a Haas. And a driver who is believed to be much faster. Lowe has made it into pit lane. And they're equipping soft tires in the McLaren pit right now. Venom, another time penalty for track violations. Calzoner to the inside, neck and neck for 3rd. Can he get by? He's got his nose ahead, but they're still side by side coming out of that corner. Now let's go to another corner. The Haas still has his nose ahead, but they're still side by side. The Aston Martin will have the advantage here. They're still side by side. They're still side by side. They're still side by side throughout the entire sector 3, and in the end, Zola ends up ahead of Calzoner. Now there's also this battle. Raptor, well, actually, it's already faded away. Raptor got within 9/10 of Lowe when Lowe came out of pit lane, but Lowe was already pulling away from Raptor by virtue of utilizing the soft tire compounds. So the main battle on track continues to be this one. Calzoner against Zola for the 3rd position. Edgar catches PPR Venom and will put him another lap down. Very slow onto that straight in order to let other drivers by. Raptor has just gotten by Lowe. Something has got Lowe. It must have had an accident. I didn't see it, but Lowe has had an incident. All the pieces are still in the car, I believe, but it's the same place on the racetrack that he had his accident earlier, and his teammate Collie Boy DNF'd. So now Lowe falls to 7th. Beastian and Flavor continue to run very slow, laps down. Despite that, Beastian is actually technically closing on Venom. The battle for 3rd is still underway. Calzoner is falling off from Zola just a little bit, though. But he has DRS on the main straight, and he should have DRS on this straight as well. He'll use that to close in. Mr. Anderson is paying out 5th position. Venom is paying out 9th. So the two Alfa Romeos pitting at the same time. Calzoner, time penalty for track violations. BCN is coming to the pits. Flavor has run his soft tire compounds for 16 laps. If he keeps that up, he will be able to, come in whenever he wants and put on another set of softs to run to the end. Oh, Zola! Out of 3rd, has spun out. No damage to the car. He'll be able to continue. Well, Calzoner got 3rd, but I don't think that's the way he anticipated getting it. As Zola now falls to 4th. Lowe is in the pits. So there was damage to the McLaren that I must have missed. Zola staying out on track, so he's able to keep running for now at least. Venom has caught TIR Flavor, actually got by TIR Flavor. The thing is, Venom now has to do a whole nother lap against Flavor if he actually wants to get by him. Flavor has been, without a doubt, slower than Venom, but he doesn't make mistakes. He's slow, but he's consistent and doesn't make mistakes. Compared to Venom, who is way faster. Venom honestly has pace for being a top 6 driver, but he keeps has an accident, spin, and that's trapped him behind Flavor. When it comes to the penalties, Edgar has 3 seconds of penalties. Smoothie does not have any, but Smoothie is 6 seconds out. But again, Smoothie is on a radically different tire strategy than Edgar. We're still 23 laps from the race in. Seconds. TIR Flavor has 5 seconds, but everyone else is only running 3-second time penalty as Raptors in the middle. Is there damage on the front wing? No, he's still good, but he is now only 6 seconds about ahead of Lowe. No, I'm sorry, 6 seconds behind Anderson. He's still 51 seconds ahead. I read that wrong. I apologize for that. Another time penalty for track violations. Calzoner is actually slowly closing in on Smoothie. And I think that has to do with the fact that Smoothie's tires are beginning to fall off. And Venom is out. It was right in the middle of the racetrack as well. That car is destroyed, and that is a full course safety car. So now the question is, who pits? Raptor is immediately coming to the pits into the full course safety car. I imagine he won't be the only one. Smoothie is coming into the pits. Anderson, penalty for collision with Venom. Although Venom is out of the race, so that makes no sense. We're going to try and get Venom in here and see what happened from his perspective, though. Smoothie now throws on soft tire compounds. Alright, and now coming into the party right now is PPR Venom. Venom, it's been a rough day. You've been one of the faster drivers on single lap pace, but numerous instances trapped you laps down, and now you're out. What happened out there?
I think it's mostly just confidence at this point. I mean, you said it yourself. I had pace over 1 lap. I knew I was fast, and it clearly showed right off the start. I had a great getaway. Was going to make up 2-3 positions, and got damaged and spun, and it was just downhill from there. I was constantly just breaking my wing, not confident in the car. Turns out I had my front wing 1 click too high to overwork the front tire, so the car wouldn't turn in, which is where a lot of my understeer was coming in when I was in the wet. But yeah, just spinning and pitting so much, just got 2 laps down, and eventually one of them just bought me out.
Right, absolute travesty. I do have to ask, so your teammate, Mr. Anderson, has been running the top 5. Do you think he has a chance to fight for the victory?
Victory, I'm not sure, because Edgar has been looking stupid fast all day, but podium, 100%. I feel like if he can just put a couple laps together where he just closes in on that top 5 group, he'll be all set to go.
Alright, Well, we'll be looking forward to that. As again, it's a shame to see you get knocked out. I will admit it was very interesting watching you have a prolonged, protracted fight against Flavor and Beastian, where the two of them are much, much slower on average pace, but they don't really make mistakes compared to you, who are putting down amazing top 5 laps. But, you know, we're dealing with this. It was a very interesting battle watching that play out. It's a shame to see that come to an end.
Something I'm trying to fix here. It was the aim of the setup today, but then we had a wet race, so I was like, my whole entire strategy went out the window, so.
Alright. Well, again, thanks for jumping in and sharing your thoughts with us here.
No problem.
Alright, now we begin to turn our focus once more to the racetrack. TIR Flavor is finally coming to the pits, and they will put on a new set of soft tire compounds. And I'm going to be 100% honest, with the way he's been running, this should be no problem for him. He should be able to make these softs last to the end of this race. Also, because it was under safety car, he was able to serve his 5-second time penalty now and won't have to worry about it again. So for Flavor, this is a wonderful scenario for him. And when it comes to an interval between himself and the leader, he is still a lap down, but now he can actually start playing with Raptor. So he might even be able to get a 7th place position. Well, I thought he had moved. No, he still has that 5-second time penalty. Okay, never mind. Lowe gets to go by, and he will try to come and catch up to the back of the grid, I imagine. It's going to be very hard considering the way this circuit is. Anyway, Smoothie now on soft, fresh softs against Edgar, who is on worn mediums. But again, Edgar is in a position that when he makes a stop, he can jump onto the softs and bring the softs to the end. I'm not 100% confident in anybody, except for Flavor's ability to run softs to the end of this race. And then again, Flavor's a lap down, so he's not going to factor into this race victory unless literally the entire top 6 all wreck out. Still under full course yellow, where it's his paint going green on lap 40, which will be 18 laps to go. It looks like they're going to allow Raptor to sneak by, potentially. Get back on the lead lap? Maybe? Yes, Raptor is going to be allowed to go by and get back on the lead lap. So that will make it a lot harder for Flavor to do anything with him as Beastie comes into the pits. And they are taking off one set of medium tires to put on a different set. So now he has a set of scuffed mediums. I guess he'll put those on late in the event. They may have run out of softs in the Mercedes camp. Beastian a lap down compared to Flavor. Raptor in a very interesting position because now he has to try and run around the track as fast as he can to hopefully catch up to the back of the grid. Lowe in the same position trying to catch up to the back of the grid right now. Also of note, Smoothie still does not have any time penalties yet, while Edgar does have a 3-second time penalty against him. And now Smoothie has a faster tire compound, and Edgar's has much more worn tires anyway, but Edgar still has the advantage of clean air, and that should help him significantly. So it's come down to Edgar versus Smoothie for this race win, although realistically anyone in the top 5 could potentially make things happen, considering how weird this race has been. Lowe is still 37 seconds out from the lead pack. Raptor a minute out. And we're not going green. We may not be going green this lap. We may go another lap under safety car. And if so, that will put both Lowe and Raptor back into... Oh, Calzone or what? Okay. If we do that, then that will put both Lowe and Raptor back onto the lead lap. Zola, I don't know what Zola and Calzone are doing right now. But yeah, it looks like because we're going another lap under yellow, Lowe will catch the back of the grid. Raptor, it's a little bit more iffy if he does or not. What in the world is Calzone doing? Alright, so Lowe's caught the back of the grid now. Raptor is still about 30 seconds out. He should be able to catch the back of it, though, before this lap is over, so it should be going green very shortly here. TIR Flavor, interestingly enough, is right behind your race leader, so that will play havoc for Smoothie trying to get up to and fight with Edgar. How's Raptor not closer yet? There he is. Now he's starting to close the gap down. Only 22 seconds out. So yeah, we should be going green this lap, coming on to lap 41. There's your word, safety car will be coming in this lap. We'll have 7 cars on the lead lap. Edgar, Smoothie, Calzona, Zola, Anderson, Lowe, and Raptor. Raptor, who was a lap down, saved by the safety car, and able to get back onto the lead lap. Looks like they're going to let TIR Flavor go ahead and run away from the field as they come to the green flag. So Smoothie gets a chance to directly fight with Edgar as they come to the green. He cannot afford to botch this restart, and we are underway. Flavor will inevitably go a lap down very quickly here, probably within 2 laps. However, this fight for first is going to be hindered by Flavor's presence significantly once they catch him. Ryan on board with Edgar as he looks behind him at Smoothie. Older and slower tires, but he has clean air until he catches Flavor. Smoothie also has a time penalty, so now every single driver on the racetrack has a time penalty against them at this point. Smoothie not close enough to do anything to Edgar, but he might not be trying to push quite yet. He might want to wait until DRS comes into play again. He needs to stay close enough, though, to be there when DRS becomes a factor again, though. Right there. Smoothie is right there. Calzona is there also, but he blows the second to last corner a bit. Smoothie has a good run coming onto the main straight, but he only has draft and ERS. He's closing, but not enough to make a move down this back straightaway. Oh, not very good through turn 2. So now the gap really opens up in favor of Edgar there for the race win. Smoothie closes back in a little bit through 3 and 4, but is now falling off just a bit. He's still within DRS range, but he needs to be closer than this if he wants to make a move when DRS is back. He's got fresher, better tires, but those softs will start falling off relatively soon here, but they'll fall off at about the same time that Edgar's tires fall off as well. And the other thing is that Edgar will have to worry about TIR Flavor, who got back on the lead lap, but will be going a lap down again very shortly. Also of note, Lowe against Mr. Anderson for 5th and 6th. Hollywood was fighting for potential... Oh! Is that Beastian? Yes, Beastian's had another accident. Lowe against Anderson. Raptor's another 3 seconds out from this battle, but he doesn't seem to have what it takes to directly hold even with it. Oh no, Zola is into the wall! He has gone around, no one else involved, but he is going to lose a bunch of positions and time now. No damage to the car. He'll be able to continue for a bit. DRS has been enabled. Calzona is not far behind Smoothie, but Smoothie may have a chance to get by Edgar on this following lap. He needs to stay within a second, though, preferably within 6 tenths. perfectly for Edgar, because Edgar should be able to catch Flavor soon enough that he will have DRS on that lapped car, and he can use the DRS as a defense against Smoothie. Right off the back of TIR Flavor, as you can see in the field, rushing to close in on him. Gap opens up a bit on the straightaway, but when does Edgar catch Flavor, and does it work out in his favor or not? Smoothie with a huge run on Edgar. It might not matter. Smoothie around the outside. Is he gonna get it? He does. Smoothie to the top now. Calzone now has a chance to potentially steal second from Edgar, the man who's dominated after Starfish crashed out. Smoothie already opening up the gap against Edgar. Edgar has DRS on the leader. Calzone has DRS on Edgar. Smoothie, fast lap, 1:25.270. Ooh, Calzone very, very twitchy going up for the curbs, but he's still alive. Further back, Low is still there behind Mr. Anderson. There's a fight on for fourth. Calzone, another time penalty. Right off the back of Flavor, the leader, Smoothie 25, is right there. He's going to pull over and let the top three go by without issue. So in the end, Flavor does not factor into the battle for the lead at all. And Smoothie is gotten by Edgar. As we look at time penalties, Edgar 8 seconds, Smoothie 5 seconds, Calzone 6 seconds. Oh, Edgar! Humongous accident! But the car's still alive! But now the driver who's dominated all day plummets through the field to 6th! But there's no damage on the car. He'll be able to continue, but the tires are giving up, I think. And for Edgar, the worst case scenario, dominating all day, and now he is out of the top 5. He comes into the pits now to put fresher tires on. Lowe continues to squabble it out with Anderson here. They both have DRS going down the straight. What can Lowe do? He's been involved in 2 accidents, but he's come back up to the 4th position. He might even be able to get 3rd, but he needs to play his cards and play them properly. Also of note, Zola, Edgar, going to be fighting. Edgar has slightly fresher tires, but they've not gotten up to 10th yet. Zola has fresh tires as well. Zola was fine with Edgar for a lead earlier, but could not keep up with him. This is his chance to possibly get back at him. Doesn't seem like he has what it takes. He gets into the grass, deep into the grass at that. As we turn our focus back to the battle for 3rd and 4th. Gets DRS 2 straightaways in a row. This will be his best chance. He looks to the outside. He gets alongside the Alfa Romeo, trying to go by around the long way. He'll deny the inside to the Alfa in turn 4. They're still side by side. One of them's going to have to back out, and it's going to be Low. Oh, and he goes around and hard into the inside wall. Raptor is going to go by and inherit 4th now. 3 accidents for Lowe. I don't know what's going on there. well, he's out of it. Lowe out of the event. This means that Edgar will take 5th place back. And Zola will inherit 6th. But now all battles on the track are basically over. We're going to try and get Lowe in here and see what happened. It looked like either he was throwing a fit and just trying to end his race early, or he had a throttle Hun. It may have been a Hun throttle. Alright, and coming into the party right now is XRRL Lowe. Lowe, go ahead and include your audio. 2 accidents earlier, and you had recovered to fight for 3rd before crashing out there. What happened at the end?
Yeah. It's not my race. It's hard to say at this moment. Had lots of accidents, probably changed the wing 5 times, I think.
Alright, well, I do have one other question. After that incident that sailed you off the circuit, knocked off your front wing, it looked like you got going again, but almost like the throttle was Hun and the car was out of control. Was it an issue with the Hun throttle at the end there, or what?
At the end, no. I was trying to control my throttle, but the tires were already so, you know what I mean? They were so hot that it kept spinning. And I tried to accelerate, and I couldn't brake, and then I just accelerated, trying to blast through one of the corners, trying to see, but made some mistakes, man. That's all I can say.
Alright, it was an absolute shame, though, because you had rebounded relatively well from 2 earlier significant accidents. It's a shame that you couldn't recover from this.
Yeah, maybe next time.
Alright, well, we'll be looking forward to your results in future XRL and XRRL races. As we turn our focus back on the track, Edgar back into the 5th position, but 33 seconds out of the lead. Though he does have fresh tires, and if the leaders elect to pit, he may gain a good amount of time back. As Mr. Anderson has now gotten another time penalty. As we look at time penalties at this point in the event, everyone has at least 3 seconds. The top 3 all have at least, top 4 all have at least 5 seconds. And if Smoothie or Raptor elect to pit, they would be likely serving 5 of those seconds in pit lane, while Calzona and Mr. Anderson would not be serving their time penalties in pit lane. However, they would be still counted against them towards the end of the race. TIR Flavor has 13 seconds worth of time penalties, but Flavor is still going to walk out here with 7th place points at this rate. Again, Flavors has not really made any serious mistakes throughout the race, and although he is way off pace, it's still working out for him. And then Raptor was a lap down, and it looks like he's going to rebound to get 4th. I'm going to be honest, if Raptor doesn't crash out between now and the end of this race, Driver of the Day awards, in my opinion, could very easily go to him. The interesting thing is going to be, as TIR Flavor is coming to the pits now, the interesting thing is going to be, will the tires for the top 4 last to the end? They have about 10 laps to go. As VCN finally overtakes Lowe. They have about 10 laps to go in the event. So they'll be looking at tires that are more than 20 laps old in the top 4. Edgar, though, is 31 seconds out. I don't think he's close enough to directly fight with any of them. Again, Edgar's not 31 seconds out of the lead. He's 31 seconds out. 4th at that. Edgar, who had dominated the majority of the race, had a spin, hit the wall, didn't destroy or damage the car, but his tires were so shot and he lost so much time from the spin alone that it's basically taken him out of the running for this race win, unless he just rips off massive lap after massive lap. And he's been ripping off massive laps all throughout the day, but at this point I don't think it's enough for him to do anything. Mr. Anderson is rebound to a 3rd place run. Calzoner in 2nd. After his teammate Elfin Starfish started on the front row and dominated the first 5th of this race. About the first fifth of the race. And now his teammate Calzoner and the remaining Haas holding steady in 2nd. It's all about managing gaps, tires, and time penalties at this point. Edgar is closing on Raptor, and if Raptor elects to pit, the longer and longer this is going on, the more and more likely it is that Edgar might be able to catch Raptor if Raptor elects to make a stop. Works more in the favor of Mr. Anderson and Smoothie. Although, interesting enough, Calzoner is closing in on your race leader. But time penalties, he now has 9 seconds worth, while Smoothie has 5. And again, we don't know if the top 4 will be able to make their tires last to the end of this race or not. For having a relatively small field, this has actually been a lot more interesting of a race than I thought it would be. Seconds out from Raptor. He is closing on that Red Bull, slowly but surely. They're about a full sector apart from each other. Calzoner is only 1.7 seconds out from Smoothie, but Calzoner has 4 more seconds worth of time penalties against him. Again, I have to wonder, does A1 in the top 4 elect to come in late in the event to try and get fastest lap points? And can their tires make it to the end? I think their tires will last. All 4 of them are far enough ahead of Edgar. I think they'll be fine. But if someone's tires fail, do they, in the last 2 laps, do they all rush into the pits to guarantee a finish, or what? BCM comes back into the pits now. BCN might be trying to go for fastest lap point as well, as he's probably figuring that no one in the top 6 on the lead lap will be doing so. Oh, Edgar! Another accident! Almost the exact same point on the track that happened earlier for him. So for now, for all intents and purposes, the fight between Edgar and trying to get to the top 4 is over, because even if they all pit, he's now more than 40 seconds out. He will no longer be in effect. In fact, Zola might actually be able to catch Edgar if Edgar has another mistake like that. So now the question is just, in the top 4, who has the tires to make it to the end? Calzoner's fallen off his Smoothie a bit now. So everyone's just managing the gap, managing their tires, and trying to minimize the amount of penalties they have in these last 6 laps. Actually, Calzoner is falling way off pace all of a sudden. Significantly so. He was only 1.7 seconds out about a lap ago. Now he's 3 seconds out. 1, yeah, he's hemorrhaging pace now. Are the tires falling off and dying for him? there's not really a whole lot to talk about. Calzone's closing back in on Smoothie a bit, so I wonder if he just backed off a bit to try and, may have had a close moment. He decided to back off a bit to try and regain his thoughts and focus. But right now, we're just clicking off laps to the end. The big question is still, can the top 4 make their tires last to the end, or will any of the top 4 have to pit? Because they're going to be wearing more than 20 laps of wear on these softs at the end of this event. Again, I think they'll be able to do it, but it's still something worth noting that the top 4 have much, much heavier wear on their tires than we've seen anyone put on softs throughout the event. But we saw the same thing happen in the XRRL Dev race at Montreal earlier today, and it was a non-factor. Edgar, once again, closing the gap on the top 4, but he's so far out, there's no way for him to close the gap enough to capitalize. He is basically locked into a 5th place position. Calzone, another time penalty. And if this keeps up, he's going to lose 2nd to Mr. Anderson. In fact, as we look at penalties now, he has twice the penalties that Anderson has. He will likely lose a podium spot to both Anderson and Raptor if this keeps up. Closing in on Calzone on the racetrack just a little bit now. And Anderson doesn't need to push too hard. He's not close enough to do anything to Smoothie, and he's close enough to Calzone that he will inherit 2nd just by virtue of, having less time penalties against him. Everyone on track has at least 3 seconds of time penalties against them right now. Everyone has at least 3 seconds, and everyone who's not Edgar has at least 5 seconds. So, time penalties, despite the fact that everyone has them, it's kind of even across the board. As leader crosses the line very shortly here, it will be 3 laps to go. Note, Raptor will have 20-lap-old tires when he crosses the line. And everyone else in the top 3 will have 19-lap-old tires. Soft tires at that. And you have to wonder if Anderson and Raptor had mediums on, would they be, making moves and being able to put pressure on Calzone or Smoothie right now? Raptor has fallen about 8 seconds off from Anderson, so I think Raptor's locked into a 4th place finishing position. But still, considering he was multiple laps down, he was a lap down earlier, being able to rebound and finish 4th will be amazing. He still needs to lick stamp and send it for these last 2.5 laps, though. Edgar, another time penalty. So now everyone has at least 5 seconds worth of time penalties against them. Anderson seems to want to put up a fight against Calzone in these last few laps. But that's pointless because he just earned himself into... Calzone just had an accident and his front wing's gone! With 2.5 laps to go, your 2nd place driver has an accident and now he's going to have to pit to repair it. Edgar's had an accident as well! And that's perfect for Zola. So now Edgar and Calzone both have accidents. This promotes Zola into 5th, and Raptor will take 3rd. Last 2.5 laps, and we still see this crazy going down. Smoothie about to put TIR Flavor a 2nd lap down here. Oh no, Edgar's out! Dominant car of the day has crashed out. Has done it in Sector 2. going to be ahead of the dominant driver of the day if he doesn't hit him. Okay, he's gone. We're going to try and get Edgar in here real quickly. Fifth, and Flavor, as long as he keeps it together, he will inherit sixth. I don't think there's enough time left for BCN to inherit seventh, sadly. Flavor's nice enough to let the leader sneak by and not hold him up. So it's going to be clean track ahead for Smoothie. There we are, Flavor officially takes home sixth, but again, BCN is so far back in lap counters, he's not going to be able to overtake Edgar to the end of this race, sadly. Stains still go crazy near the end, go figure. In fact, he's going to be, 4 seconds off, he's not catching him. But anyways, coming into the final corners, Smoothie out of the last corner. It's not the Aston Martin who was up front early on, but it's going to be the one that wins in the end. It's Smoothie, and the Aston Martin Mr. Racing will come across the line in the second position. Third place will go to XRRL Raptor, my vote for driver of the day, from a lap down to the podium. Fourth place is going to go to Calzoner, who is on a flying lap right now. Calzoner might get a time, might get the point for fastest lap of the day, honestly. So both Aston Martins taking home spots in the top 5. An outstanding job by that team. Very, very interesting race, despite having an extremely small field at that. Raptor driver of the day, yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Coming from a lap down to get a podium finish here is absolutely impressive. And on the oldest tires in the field at the end also. And there's your race winner. A very small field, only 13 drivers lasting more than a lap, and only about 7 of them going to the end of the race still. Standing by until we see the final lineup here. Come on, game. Come on, game. Let's do this. Game. Game. Oh, okay, cool. So we're just not going to show in-race results. Yeah, that's fine. All right, we're going to try and get Smoothie in here to hear what he has to say about that win. I also want to try and get Raptor in here as well before he's gone and hear what he has to say about rebounding from an accident in qualifying and going a lap down to get back into the podium positions. Alright. Well, one of our guys is coming in. I don't know if our race winner is going to join the party or not, but XRRL Raptor, well, third time is literally the charm as you come home third after an accident in qualifying and going a lap down in the race. How in the world did you do that?
Slow and steady. That's all I can say. Is slow and steady. Just I really started focusing on my corner entries, my corner exits, hitting the apexes. Smart strategy. A lot of that I owe to XRRL Fiend. That was absolutely phenomenal as my race engineer today. He's a big chunk of what made this possible. But I'm very, very pleased with the result.
I'm extremely pleased also. We've been watching you, especially throughout a lot of elements of XRRL, but especially XRRL. You have struggled significantly in the back, and you finally made something happen and pulled off a very well-earned podium finish there. So absolutely congratulations on that part.
Indeed.
I would say you're driver of the day without a doubt.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It just took all the elements finally coming together and clicking to make this happen. I'm absolutely thrilled.
Yep. Well, again, we can't seem to get in contact with our race winner. I'm going to try one more time to get in contact with Smoothie here. But if that doesn't work out, I will go ahead and start wrapping up the broadcast here. It says he's already offline, so I'm going to send one last invite. And if he doesn't show up, we're going to leave a very, very interesting race here in Australia. It's still up in the air as to the future of XRRL. I've heard that they might do another exhibition mini race. I've heard that they might just try and start the season altogether. It might go off. We have no idea. Ryan Hurricane, who is the main guy who runs XRRL, has not shown up today. He's been busy with other stuff, so we've not had a chance to really get an idea as to what the plan is. Yep, it doesn't look like our race winner Smoothie is going to come in. Okay, well, we do want to wish him congratulations on that incredible victory. As the pole sitter crashed out, the top two drivers, the two dominant drivers today, both crashed out and didn't finish. And then also, I just want to say for TIR Flavor, again, coming home with a very, very solid 6th, even though it was second to last of all the drivers ran at the end and still 2 laps down. He finished ahead of drivers who dominated most of this race just by, again, not making very many or any mistakes. Anyways, that's it for me. I'm going to wrap up the broadcast. I'm not even going to do the music because I am a little bit exhausted right now. I just want to end this. I will see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. UK time on the alternate channel for X3. Until then, sayonara.